Next up on the prelims, we've got Nicolae Negumereanu and Kennedy Nzechukwu. Now, wow, I think I did pretty well on those names. First of all, what I love about Kennedy, that gas tank. One of the best gas tanks to watch in the UFC. But the issue with him is that if we don't get to see him come out of that first round, it's very tough for him to, continue that type of fight. But once he gets out of that first round, he's actually quite fun to watch. Dylan Marquez, very, very, very big struggles trying to get him to the ground. You talk about, Paul Craig was pretty... Paul Craig? Yeah. That was the only fighter to be able to get him to the ground. Submitted him in such emphatic fashion. But outside of that, I think he's had a pretty good performance. You talk about surviving Carlos Ulberg, then getting his own finish towards the, I think it was the second round. But Nicolae really came off as a wrestler to me when he first started out, and then all of a sudden I just started seeing his striking get better and better and better and better. So for me, I look at his striking differential of 2.97 versus 5.72, which is not good at all. But he has shown a lot of improvement. And I think in this fight, with his pace, with the amount that he tends to push forward, he's willing to take a punch to give a couple. That's exactly how you want to fight with Kennedy. I think that you do want to kind of empty half your gas tank in the first round just to try and see if you can end him, because if you still have maybe half that gas tank and you can still maybe have some pressure going for the next two rounds, at least you've locked up that first to maybe the second and a half type of rounds where you just have to get through that third. So I really think that there's a pretty good game plan there for how Nicolae can rely on how to get through that first round if he has to, plus try to finish early if he needs to. For Kennedy, it really is about the defense, right? You kind of saw in that last fight, it was tough to watch a little bit, but the way he had his guard up, he just kept taking shots, and Dan Jung really just found ways to land to the body and came up top so hard, and you can tell that Kennedy was very, very much struggling with those strikes, and that's what I loved about Dan Jung's striking in that the boxing looked so crisp. He was landing big, waiting, and just trying to land the perfect shot. It was very well played for Dan Jung, and he got a much, much, much well-respected win out of my book. And then, you have to kind of... If you were impressed with Kennedy before that, it's like he kind of comes back down to earth as well, right? So for me, it's like, as much as I want to lean Kennedy a little bit here, because you got, Negumereanu, who has he really fought? Safarov, one of the greatest legends to ever fight the UFC, is his lone loss. So it's like, if that's the case, these guys really do stack up together, and I think Kennedy's going to have a huge recency bias against him, which is why I think Nicolae is going to be the favorite here. I'm going with the line about minus 140 in terms of guessing the line. I think it makes sense, but if Kennedy can stand his ground in that first round, he is a huge live dog to win this fight. So let's keep that in mind. Let's take a look, and I think we nailed that. We thought Nicolae might get some recency bias and be the favorite, but he's not. Plus 105 opener, plus 120 as high as right now, plus 110 on average. Nzechukwu minus 125 opener, now minus 140. I kind of mentioned with the last fight, Moroz and Agapova opening that minus 140, plus 115. In MMA, you kind of almost get to the pick'em area with those two. So that Nzechukwu Negumereanu fight, I really think that there's an opportunity for not only one of them to prove something big, but I think that we can almost tell what's going to happen. It really just dictates on who can really survive and make it happen.